the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything.
Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today from Super7, in their Ultimates line, we are featuring G.I. Joe Cobra Commander. Alright, so you'll notice at the start of the video I said Super7. So this is not a Hasbro product. Super7 got the license to do these really cool interpretations of the G.I. Joe characters for their 7-inch Ultimates line. And we're here to check them out. This figure came out in 2022. It comes in a protective cardboard box, which is nice. And let's remove this from its packaging. Alright, it's kind of tight fitted, so I might have to push it out on both ends. Right, there you go. Alright, so let's slide this out. Alright. So we have the Super7 Cobra Commander. They go through great lengths to protect the action figure. As you can see, there's this plastic baggie that engulfs the figure. I'm going to take this off without completely obliterating it. I know I could just tear this off, but I kind of want to keep it just in case. There we go. Alright, so you're getting this really slick shade of camouflage blue, and it's kind of nice on this outer sleeve. There's kind of like the impression of like weathering with the silver chipping here. It looks cool. The Cobra emblem is a relieved detail, so you could actually feel it, and it's almost like a gold foil kind of deal. Very slick. The G.I. Joe logo is embossed on the back. And then you can remove the protective outer layer like so, revealing one beautiful looking action figure. Wow, let's take a look at this. This looks incredible. So I'm not all on board with the Super7 G.I. Joe stuff yet. You know, if anything, I just wanted to dabble with one figure and see how, you know, how they fared. And for me, it was Cobra Commander. This is the one figure I really wanted to check out. It looks sick. There's lots of cool accessories. You have the Cobra around the globe, which is neat. He has his staff, which is a little... it's either a staff or walking stick. If it's a staff, it's too short. If it's a walking stick, it's the right length. He has the two different helmets, so depending on which version you want to portray, you know, if you want to use the comic book versus the cartoon versus the card art, you know, there's the one with the silver stripe on the top of the dome. The cape looks to be a cloth goods cape, which I'm on the fence about. I would much prefer like a plastic or rubber cape. All sorts of different gadgets, binoculars, pistols, and hand options. And on the back, you have a nice bio on the enemy leader, Cobra Commander. And then you have some screenshots here from the old school 80s cartoon. And yeah, I'm very stoked. Let's take this out. And carefully, I don't want to F up the box. Okay, there you go. Alright, so I'm not sure how crazy I'm going to get with this review. There's a part of me that kind of just wants to examine the action figure and not really deal with the accessories. But we could look at them up close. The Cobra wrapped around the globe is a nice touch. It looks really cool. Again, the two different helmet options. You can see the one has the silver stripe on the top. The cloth goods cape kind of bothers me a little bit. It's kind of too thick around the collar. It almost looks like one of those neck pillows you wear, like when you're traveling on like a long flight. It looks weird. The color is really nice too. It's really a vibrant shade of blue, much like it was in the cartoon. And let's see if I can remove the figure carefully without disturbing the rest of the contents. It feels like the cape has a wire on the inside, so that's nice for posing. I can kind of feel it. But I just really want to focus on the figure for now. Keep in mind there's two trays of accessories. There's the top tray, which contains all of this. And then underneath is the second tray with the binoculars and the extra hand options, and then the rifle in the back. Alright, so we have Cobra Commander. And if you're watching this, the thing you're probably asking yourself, or you want to know, is how tall is he? Alright, so like I said, this is a 7-inch scale action figure, and he's a little under 7¼ inches. The Super7 Ultimates line, you know, they're roughly a 1/10 scale action figure, much like McFarlane's line of DC multiverse figures, which we have right here. And this is one of their early releases. This is the McFarlane designed Batman. The earlier McFarlane stuff is much larger than the newer stuff, but this is a 1/10 scale 7-inch figure. And then you can see the height difference. McFarlane stuff is this really giant. Here's a Marvel Legends Vulcan figure from their X-Men line. I think this is a great representation of a standard Marvel Legends figure. So keep in mind 6-inch scale, 7-inch scale, and you can see the height difference. But you're probably clamoring for, you know, let's see it next to a classified figure. And I can do that. Let me grab one real quick. And if you're wondering why he's in a sandwich baggie, this is an extra Cobra Commander figure I had. And I decided to keep him in a baggie because I forgot why. But let's take a look. Here's the size difference. So you can see there's a big, huge height difference in the figures. So, you know, the Super 7 stuff, it's a different scale, unfortunately, than the Hasbro figures. If you're one of those collectors, much like myself, where you don't care about the scale of the figures and you don't mind displaying the giant figure next to the smaller one, you know, go for it. But if you're a serious, you know, scale guy or gal, this might disappoint you a little. You know, the height difference is pretty noticeable. So, but I do like this look. For me, this really is my Cobra Commander. I grew up on the Real American Hero stuff in the 80s, and I think it's a fun looking figure. The quality of it, it feels a little off. You know, you're paying a premium price for this premium collectible, but immediately when you handle it, it doesn't, not that it feels of a lesser quality, but it doesn't feel as premium as you'd like it to feel. You know, it feels a little bit light in some areas. The tolerances in the joints, like for example, the head feels a little loose. Mine kind of wobbles. Likewise, the ab crunch, it's a little loose for my taste. I kind of wish it was a little bit tighter. The articulation on the arms is pretty decent, and they feel super tight. So it's a mixed bag. Like, some joints feel super loose, other joints feel incredibly tight, and I don't like that creaking noise. I'm always afraid that something like this might crack. It feels like it's made of that kind of plastic that it's not very forgiving. It feels like if you bend it too hard, something might snap. Not that I'm saying it's brittle by any means, but it's not as soft or as pliable as a plastic like, you know, the Hasbro Marvel Legends G.I. Joe Classified series of figures. But that's not to take anything away from this. I still think this is a beautiful figure. And it's neat. His arms seem a little long, don't they? Yeah, his arms just feel a little bit off, proportion-wise. They just seem a little bit long. The detailing is pretty fair. You know, the emblem, it's clean for the most part. Articulation, man, his head is super loose. I'm not digging that. But you know, the movement is there. The range of motion's kind of there. Does he look down? Does he look up? Not really. Arms go out. You have a bicep cut. Elbow, single pinned elbow, so it doesn't have that range of motion that you might like. It's pretty just at a right angle. But it does have an elbow swivel. Articulated wrists, and don't forget there are multiple hand options. The ab crunch, as we saw earlier, swivel at the waist, legs kick up, they kick out. There is a thigh swivel towards the upper hip. Single pinned knees. So once again, you're just getting a right angle and articulated ankles. Is this worth the price of admission? I think it's debatable. For me, I paid, I think, a little over... How much did I pay for this? I want to say I paid maybe $51 for this. Which, for me, it feels like maybe $5 to $10 a bit too much. You know, the Super 7 stuff to begin with, it's not cheap. You know, often their figures are priced pretty high. But, I mean, this feels more like a $40 figure than versus a $55 figure, if that makes any sense. But it's still a nice piece. I'm glad to add it to my collection. Does this entice me to buy other figures from this line? Possibly. But if you're happy with the G.I. Joe Classified series, you know, just stick with that, I'd say. Unless you really want to dabble in the much more cartoon-inspired designs without giving a care about the scale issue when compared to this. If you're a fan of the Classified series of figures, I do believe you're getting this figure as one of the bonuses if you backed the HasLab His Tank. I want to say I think Cobra Commander might have been on the last tier of that crowdfunded campaign. And that one comes on the retro card. And I have a feeling that, you know, they'll probably do a mainline release in the boxed packaging, you know, maybe with some slight altercations. And while we're at it, here's the Cobra Commander Enemy Leader from the 25th anniversary line from 2007. You know, recreates the same character. Again, you can see the discrepancies with the silver on the helmet. You know, the original card art had the silver stripe, whereas I believe the original figure from '82 did not have the stripe on the helmet, much like this one here. But it's cool. You know, it's nice to get different generations of the same character. You know, overall, am I happy with this purchase? Yes. Do I feel like it's for everyone? No. I think there's people that would really, really want to add this to their collection, but if you're very knee-deep into the Classified series, you know, it could be an issue just because of the size. I know there's a lot of people out there that, you know, scale is such a big issue with them, and rightfully so. You know, if you invest a lot of money in your toys and you want to put them on display and you want some sort of sense of consistency, you know, it's nice to, you know, be able to display them all together. But then again, you know, the G.I. Joe Super 7, I believe I think at the moment, maybe 4 waves in. or soon to be 4 waves. And, you know, with that, they'll probably have at least 12 figures in that collection, which is more than enough to display on a shelf on their own. So it's a great figure. You know, it might not be for everyone. For me, I like it a lot. I'm very fond of the animated design, and, you know, this really embodies my Cobra Commander that lives in my head. The Classified Series one is great also, don't get me wrong. I love the new modern stuff. But, you know, as just being a mark for the character, I just felt the need to get this. And the accessories, you know, they're nice also. So it's really up to you. You know, if you're a fan of Super7 and their products, and if you're a G.I. Joe fan already, it's, you know, probably a no-brainer, and you'll probably pull the trigger. If you don't really dabble in Super7, you know, this might be something you might want to explore, you know, and check out other videos as well to see what other people think. All right, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.